Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I literally changed the title of this webinar like minutes ago after getting done with the trading day and trying to figure out that this was probably the most appropriate title I could name our live training session. Obviously, it's not a live trade session after the close here, but in extended hours, it's just interesting. Literally, that's the question on the screen. Where are we now, right? Who's that? Martin Garrix. I don't know if you've been to Vegas, you know that song, but it's we have a lot to talk about. And to all the new folks, I know one of our new strategic partners did us a great favor and emailed, and maybe a lot of you are new folks. You've never heard of Top Gun Options before. You don't even know who the hell I am and why I'm talking to you. But we're gonna have a good time this afternoon. So what we're doing right now is I invited you into what is called our accelerated retirement brief. We usually have it every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, but to be honest with you, with the Fed decision at 2 o'clock, I had the phone glued to my head, and just a lot of good stuff going on. So I wanted to push this until after the close. What a momentous week, literally it has been from. And it's funny because on Monday in our weekly options brief, when I said, hey, I'm going to sit on my hands until yesterday when we did our primary live trade brief, when I said, let's put on an Amazon bull put spread, which is looking pretty good. Doesn't it seem like it's a world away? I mean, remember the G7 conference over the weekend with Justin Trudeau's eyebrow melting off and the president having a tweet panic on Air Force One? That seems like it was years ago, but it was recent, folks. So we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to have a good time this afternoon. Real quick, though, before I introduce myself, obviously I know we have a couple hundred accelerated retirement members in the room. Let me get either a show of hands or just give me an N in that chat box down there if you're new. This is the first time you've ever heard of my voice or even know what Top Gun Options is, because I want to know who I'm preaching to. If I got one person in here who's not a member, we're just going to talk about trades and member stuff. John, I know you're old, man. You and me both are old. Melissa, welcome aboard. Awesome. Okay, good. All right. Obviously, yep. There's Fish. Hello, Fish. Jim Bob, John, JR. JR's in here. I know you're an old. JR's a veteran in here as well. Catherine, you're not old. Come on now. Harry, welcome aboard. Terrence, Dennis, another Dennis. James McCabe. I hope you're not the one that's going to get indicted here pretty soon. If you are, I'm honored that you're in this room. Dwight, Rob, Karen. Okay. You know what? To be honest with you, I'd say about 25% of you are new, and 75% of you are my current members from Accelerated Retirement. So let's just do a normal Accelerated Retirement brief. And for the folks that put the N or the new words in the chat box, just know that you're joining me for a regular program here. And to be honest with you, it's not super regular because we're usually in what's called go to training, where you guys can see each other's chat. I thought we'd have more folks in here from our strategic partner, but doesn't matter. I'm gonna do my. How about this? You're getting to sit in the back of the ready room and watch as I talk to my Accelerated Retirement members. Okay, so I'm gonna change my brief a little bit out there. You got it, Rick. You bet, Bill. Bill, this is recorded. We record everything for our members and even our non-members. If you got a split soon, I'll definitely send you out the replay. So everything's recorded. So welcome aboard, Bill. Thanks, Catherine. I appreciate that, folks. My name is Matthew Buckley. A lot of you didn't know. Somebody the other day said, hey, Wiz, what the hell's the E? The guy's been here for like 5 years. It's Edward. I was kind of a poor Irish Catholic kid from South Jersey, one of 6 kids. And I had about 20 Uncle Eds. And my parents, obviously, in the Irish Catholic tradition, named me Ed after everybody else. But they wanted to be distinct, so they called me Matthew. So the E, in case any of you didn't know it, actually, you know what? It stands for excellence. Stands for X. No, I'm kidding. I knew my members would get a kick out of it. It's Edward Matthew Buckley. My call sign's Wiz. I earned that call sign flying the FA-18 Hornet. They did run out of names, believe it or not. I flew the Hornet, the F-18 Hornet, for the United States Navy for about 15 years. I graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, NFWS. That's over there. But many of you guys know that it's Top Gun, obviously. And I was a bad guy, actually, at Top Gun, which is, I guess, your ultimate good guy. I was a bad guy at Top Gun. I was an adversary. So if you ever watched that so-called movie, Chester and all the instructors. I was actually that dude. I flew around, not safe for work. Wait a minute, Navy fighter, Andrew, leave it up to you to know what that acronym means. Anyway, guys, during my 15 years in the Navy, I did a couple deployments to the Arabian Gulf. Do me a favor and don't call it the Persian Gulf. You know who calls it the Persian Gulf? Iran. They think Iran's Persia, and they think they own it. So we called it, whenever we were on the carrier, we were in the NAG, the Northern Arabian Gulf. Got to fly with the Blue Angels, got to be an LSO standing on the back of the ship. That young gentleman right there with that square haircut, that's Edward Matthew Buckley. And like I said, I got to do some combat sorties over Iraq. But this is called the NAG, folks. So underneath, this is, if you've never seen the middle, this is Kuwait. This is Kuwait City. That's Iraq. And in the background, that's Iran. This is a lake. Okay, so this is the NAG, the Northern Arabian Gulf. So don't call it the Persian Gulf anymore. Call it the Arabian Gulf. Harry, E.M. Buckley equals easy money Buckley. Man, if that, I appreciate that, Harry. So, okay, Wiz, you're 5 minutes into our brief here. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing here. Well, folks, when I was on active duty, I first of all, you don't get rich by joining the Navy. That's not why I joined the Navy. My parents instilled in me service above self. And also to give back to the country. So I loved aviation. I loved the ocean. We grew up on the Jersey Shore, not that Jersey Shore, like the real Jersey Shore, not, the tank tops and the slick back hair. And my dad, blue collar guy, worked every 6 days a week. On the back of the paper, I used to see these hieroglyphic symbols, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, what's that?" He's like, "Well, son, those are stocks." And at an early age, if you go this afternoon to McDonald's and you get that Happy Meal with the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, the stock mic, short story long, I was always interested in finance in the background. But at the end of the day, I wanted to serve my country. But as I was serving my country, a very young lieutenant, junior grade in beautiful Lemoore, California. And if you've ever been to Hanford, Fresno, Lemoore, California, I'm being slightly facetious in my tone. That's kind of what Lemoore, California looks like. I applied everything I learned flying a fighter aircraft to my trading. Having a strategy, being disciplined, contingency planning, saying, "Hey, man, if this engine quits, what am I going to do? Well, what if that engine quits when the other?" Asking what could go wrong. And I applied it to my trading with incredible success. And to be honest with you, folks, I kind of thought everybody was doing this. I mean, it ain't rocket surgery. Knowing when to get out of, "Hey, man, I'm this profitable. I need to go and take the money and run," like the guy said. Or, "Hey, I'm getting my ass kicked in this trade. It's time to leave." I kind of thought those were natural, but to be honest with you, those weren't. Eventually, I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility equity options firms in the world. See these big, beautiful windows? This is called the CBOT, folks. This is the Chicago Board of Trade, right at the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle. If you watched, what was it, Batman, whatever, this is where the joke, what's his name's flying down the street there. So I popped up on the radar, and these folks said, "Hey, come do what you're doing." What did I do there? I helped start a hedge fund. A Peak 6 hedge fund. I still helped build a brokerage called Options House. I was there for 3 years and had the best time of my life, folks. And obviously, if you're a trader or an investor, you've seen this movie, Trading Places, and I felt like Valentine. I really did. I felt like I was the poor guy on the street down here, and all of a sudden I'm up in these corner offices talking about the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip and orange futures. But I got to be honest with you, folks. The same people that are in here are you. It ain't rocket surgery, man. Everything we're going to talk about today, and like I said, we're going to dive into what would be a normal trade brief. This isn't. It's not tough. I'm a political science major, Navy guy. I'm a knuckle dragger, folks. This is pretty damn easy, but you have to use the most important trading platform that you have, folks, is the 7, 8, 15, 2 inches of gray matter between these ears. You don't need no super software, no this Fibonacci reverse with a twist. It's called your brain. And I'm going to teach you how to use that here at TGO. So short story long, I was the managing director of strategy for Peak 6 Investments. After I put that ship to bed, I was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network. We were the essentially the CNBC for options. One of my biggest career metrics was having CNBC say, you know what, your money's no good here. You can't advertise on our network because you're a competitor. I had to hop on an airplane from Chicago to New York, drive over to Englewood Cliffs, and meet with the executive of CNBC for them to take my money. When I was declared a competitor to CNBC, I knew I had made it. No offense to everybody in the room who's from Chicago, or Tamara, I don't know if you're up here. Tamara lives up in Wisconsin. No, there she is. You could stand for Einstein. There's Tamara. Tamara's one of our gold stars here, man. I love the people in the Midwest. I wish I could paste them down here in South Florida, but I'm a beach guy, man, and Lake Michigan don't cut it. I need like a real beach. So I headed down here to God's Waiting Room. We call it Boca Raton, and we started Top Gun Options 8 years ago. I am absolutely astounded and proud. Not astounded, I guess I'm proud, but I'm astounded because in this financial training space, it really is a lot of snake oil, folks. And we don't educate. There's zero education here. You want to get educated, read a book. How many of you could read a book on aerodynamics and go hop in that jet? You need to be trained. This is what we do in our live trade briefs. This is an old slide. Since in the past 8 years, we've trained more than thousands of traders, all experience levels. And speaking of Tamara, she showed up a February ago, having never invested in her life, and now she's doing bullish and bearish double verticals on Tesla, on Amazon, and making 650 triple-digit returns. That's her words. That's not mine, folks. Everything you're going to learn today in our brief is combat tested and Wall Street proven, and we use the demo-do approach. I'm going to demonstrate what to do, then you go do it. You don't read a book on aerodynamics and then run out to the F-18. You need to jump in what we call the simulator. I spent so much time in the simulator at night when people were in bed. I'm in the simulator, folks. You need to open a paper trading account and learn how to do this stuff before you ever put any real capital at risk. Understood? Vertical head nod. Okay. Now, before we're going to talk about in accelerated retirement, this portfolio, 2 winning trades that we have on right now. I'm going to make us sound like Superman and Superwoman. That does not happen all the time. We absolutely have losing trades. We haven't had one in a while. I think we have a win one that we talked about last week, but we put on a repair trade. So our objective is to win the war, folks, but losing trades happen. If you're in any one of these briefs, folks, with Steve over from whatever trading.com, and they sit there and they talk about how great they are, and they don't show you a losing trade or tell you that, you know what, we've made some mistakes, run as fast as you can or click the X in the top right of the screen. Our inner Rumsfeld we channel often here at Top Gun Options. Trading is a form of combat, folks. When you think about it, somebody's in combat, somebody's going to lose, hopefully it ain't you, and somebody's going to win. What about in trading? Trading is a form of combat. There's somebody on the other side of your trade going, you're an idiot. I'll take this trade, man. You're going to get your butt kicked. And you're sitting there going, no, I'm not. So here's my inner Rumsfeld when we talk about losing trades. Donald Rumsfeld, even though I despised the man, he had a good quote. He said, in combat, there are known knowns. Okay? There are things we know that we know. Duh. Well, that's the easy part. The middle part was this. He said, there are known unknowns. There are things we know that we don't know. We don't know what the weather is going to be over the target. We don't know if they're going to move these missiles. They're on tracked vehicles. They could move. So there are known unknowns. And then the last Rumsfeldism that really puts a smile on my face, and you have to take this when you trade, is there are unknown unknowns. There are things we don't know that we don't know. And I know some of you, if you're new to TGO, are sitting here like, Christ almighty, the cost of admission, first of all, it was free, but I paid way too much to get in here. Here's an example. There are things we don't know we don't know. Years ago, there was a company called Google. And you know why I say that? Because you all call it Google today. There's nobody out of the 322 people in this room that call it Alphabet. And if you do, you're an analyst and you shouldn't be in here. It ain't Alphabet, folks. If FedEx changed the name of its company tomorrow to Brown, well, that would be UPS, never mind. Here's what I'm getting at. You'd still say, hey, man, I'm going to FedEx you that. It's become a verb. But anyway, folks, I put on an iron condor, a weekly iron condor on a Monday afternoon in our live trade brief. It looked great. I did all my intelligence gathering, all my research, and at 4:07, I'm on a treadmill down the street. in the gym. And I watch Comedy Central, CNBC, for the entertainment. And at breaking news, Google changes its name to Alphabet. The shares are up 5% in after-hours trading. Back to you, Trish. You know what I did? I laughed. Well, Wiz, you lost $5,000. I did, but you know what? I laughed. Because there was no way on God's green earth, unless I was doing insider trading, which means I should be in jail, that I knew that after the market closed, they were going to change their name. And by the way, changing their name didn't do anything to the business model. Like 2 days later, the stock came back down to normal. But I lost on that trade. So folks, there are losing battles. But I got to be honest with you. And we had this slide's from 3 weeks ago. We had an Amazon. Crap. I should have written it down. A bull put spread. We got blown out of Amazon. But folks, as of the Amazon bull put spread we have on today, how many of you are in this weekly trade, guys, members? Amazon's looking great. We are out of 31 Amazon trades in the past 6 months. We've made max profit on 27 of them. Rick, David, Catherine, Andrew. Awesome. Right down the fairway, my friend. You got it, Andrew. So, folks, there are some losing battles. All right. Enough of the slides and all that crap. I can't stand it. I'm not a marketer. I'm a trader. Let's do – actually, the only slides I wanted to cover were these. Let me do my SOT real quick. And my members, bear with me. Here's my methodology, guys. Like I said, just remember this. If you take nothing, if you never become a member here, SOT. This is the way you need to trade. Most of you trade like that. You're very, very tactical. You wake up in the morning and drink your coffee and look at CNBC and go, okay, what's going on? Maybe I'll trade Tesla today. In a week, you're broke. You made zero on that trade, or you took a max loss. You're a very tactical trader. We're not going to do that here at TGO. Today, in our normal accelerated retirement brief, I'm going to give you a geopolitical, economic, and military brief. Why? Do any of you remember where Crimea is? Can you point it out on a map? Putin invaded it, and the market went down 1,000 points. What about Greece? Does everybody remember when Greece was going to get thrown out of the Eurozone? And for the next 30 days, the market did this on the, they're going to leave. No, they're going to stay. They're going to leave. We made $35,000 trading weekly options. So if you're sitting there doing the bottom of this pyramid, you're trading wrong. Okay? So I'm going to give you a geo-economic political brief. Then we're going to peel back the onion, I call it, and then we're going to get operational. We're going to take a look at what's going on here in the United States, economically and politically. Folks, in November ain't that far away, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen in November? A blue wave, a red wave. If it's a blue wave, the president's they're going to vote for articles of impeachment. Are you kidding me? And the market's going to implode. There's your Democrats for you, folks, rooting for the country. You're on an airplane and you want the pilot to fail. Brilliant. But what about the Fed today? So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And then, and only then, folks, after you get your strategic brief, I tell you what's going on in the U.S. Now and only now can you get tactical. And I got to tell you, not to blow smoke up your – David took Amazon profits today. Good job, David. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm telling you that the 75, 80 new people in here, you're smart. You're SMRT. You know why? Not one of you have done the old in a larger webinar. Usually if 1,000 or 2,000 people are in here, I get the 1 or 2 or 3 people are like, dude, what are you talking about? Where are the trades? What are you feeling about Amazon? What's going on with Tesla? And I usually throw those people out of the room because they're very, very tactical traders. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk today about a couple front month trades, some vertical spreads, and also some hedges. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the VIX doing right now? If you're in this room, you most likely know what the Volatile Index is, but this is nuts. And the guy that ran Peak 6 Investments, he always told me, he's like, hey, Wiz, whenever you hear me as an investor or a trader say these words, this is nuts, sit up in your chair, come back from the Bahamas where you've been mentally clubbing, and wake up. The Volatile, right now, actually, we had a big spike in vol today, 5% up to 13. But folks, we were almost down to our resting heart rate from before January. Everybody remember the January rally? Yay, nothing bad could ever happen again. Boom. And the market absolutely imploded. So everybody remember this? You probably remember it like, Wiz, I was printing money up until that. We predicted this, folks. I didn't get the exact date and time right, but I said, folks, the music's going to end. what did I say yesterday in our primary live trade brief? I said, this is half of January, guys, and this is going to end. I don't think we're going to have I call the Fred Sanford. If you're in this room, you're probably old enough to have watched Sanford and Son growing up. Remember, he'd always grab his chest every episode. This is the big one. You big dum-dum. I'm coming, Elizabeth. This ain't going to be the big one. But at the end of the day, folks, we're running out of airspeed right now, and we're going to it's time for a little bit of a breather. Okay. And folks, it's getting a little bit more crowded in here. So at the end of the day, I'm going to answer member questions as we fly through this, and then I'll kick them out at the end. I'm not going to kick my members out. They own this place. I'm going to excuse them. And then if you have questions for me and you're a non-member, I'll hang out, and we'll hang out in here all night if you need to. Before I get strategic, talking about Korea, talking about China, talking about all this stuff, I got to talk to you as an American. This man, hopefully, as I'm seeing in interviews today, is going to be fired. He's Deputy Attorney General Rod Ronstein, whatever the hell his name is. He is in my opinion, he's a traitor. Congress oversees, there is no agency in the United States of America, folks, that is independent of us. You and me, man, America. This dude thinks he is. So when Republicans were subpoenaing, hey man, what happened in the last election? We want we want everything. Who said this, folks? In a government that operates in the dark. The hell's the rest of that quote? Tamara, Harry, you guys are smart. Figure that quote out. But you guys this guy apparently, when Congress said we want to subpoena all this stuff, he stood up in a couple meetings and yelled at these guys and said, I'm going to subpoena you guys. I'm going to sick the Department of Justice and FBI on you. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like the IRS a couple years ago targeting groups that weren't in lockstep with guys? Love or hate Donald Trump, and I'm not going to get super political today. He has turned on the lights in the kitchen and he has shown us the bad. These people were convinced Hillary Clinton was going to win. They were going to get promoted. They were going to bury all this stuff, and there's no way that clown's going to get elected. He did. And now they're scrambling. This, as an American, as a man who wore the uniform for 15 years, who buried 11 men that were this dude wouldn't even be in the same room of the 11 people I buried. 10 men and 1 woman. I buried the first female Navy fighter pilot, folks. He is a piece of shit. And I can't wait for this man. Folks, now you know why we have a Second Amendment, and I'll leave it at that. All right, let's go ahead and get airborne. Unless you've been on the other side of Mars for the past couple days, this was a big deal. Now, of course, if you're a liberal, you're at MSNBC or CNN, you sat there and ripped this guy apart. You were the same person who a year ago said he's going to get us all killed with his rhetoric and he needs to talk to this dude and stop talking about nuclear war and everything. Just talk to the guy. He goes and talks to the guy and they all go apeshit. If Donald Trump declared himself Satan tomorrow, there would be people in this country that would complain it's not hot enough in hell. I'm sick of it. But here's what happened. So you're going to get a lot of wizisms when you become a member here at Top Gun Options. One of them is the market only cares when it cares. Right here, Donald Trump said, I think we're going to label some tariffs on a bunch of countries. We need fair trade. Larry Kudlow and Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, the grown-ups will talk. Well, this day, Vladimir Putin came out and said, hey, man, we made some new cool weapons that is going to kill all of you in America, and you'll never know it. This was the last Fed meeting Jerome Powell had, and Donald Trump said, you know what? I know the adults are talking, but I'm going to make trade free and fair. And we imploded. So between this time and this time, people didn't – what I'm getting at, folks, is the market only cares when it cares. So right now, Monday, it seems like a world away. Great news. But what happens? Cream of some young guy hopped on an airplane, landed in North Korea, and said what? I stood up to the Yankee, son of a bitch, and he agreed to all my demands. He's lifting sanctions and no more military drills. If you don't think that Donald Trump, who's admitted more or less, when you deal in real estate in New York and you deal in concrete in the 70s and 80s, you deal with the mafia. The guys essentially said, these guys ain't the Girl Scouts. You know that the guy you're negotiating with is most likely going to go back to his side and claim victory. It's funny to see the reaction today in the media, like he landed and he's saying he won. What did you expect this dude to go back to North Korea and said, the Yankee pummeled me into the dirt and I surrender? Folks, we're about to make sausage, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody went bananas that the president said, hey man, no more war games. They're expensive. I get it. If Canada and the UK and France, who apparently don't like us anymore, started doing war games on our border, we probably wouldn't like it either. Let's not do it. Everybody goes bananas. So today the president's got to say, you know what? U.S. military drawdown South Korea not yet on the table. So ladies and gentlemen, let me summarize it into this. We don't care about this right now. We're into years of making sausage. The Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, today said by the end of the president's first term, we want them to be, that's 3 years away, guys. So we knew that if you were shocked by Kim landing and saying this stuff, or Trump kind of backtracking on, yes, he said no military exercises, but now he's saying, hey, our troops aren't going anywhere, but we're not going to be knocking on this guy's door. Then ignore this. If you're following this tick by tick, you're nuts. But here's what you have to start caring about. Anybody hear of a small country called Iran? Who has been as quiet as a field mouse during all of this stuff? Iran. Why? First of all, Iran and North Korea are strategic partners. North Korea's helped Iran build nukes, I believe Benjamin Netanyahu and his intelligence. So Donald Trump he's going to do the reverse Obama. Everybody remember Obama saying, I'm going to pivot from Iraq and the Middle East to China. And he didn't, because China, at low tide in the middle of the Pacific, took a bunch of dirt, sailed it out into these atolls, dumped it on these atolls, and made runways and said, now that's China 600 miles away. So now we're going to have to deal with Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iran, the Middle East, folks. It hasn't gotten better. Okay, we have some long energy plays on, but this has got to be on your radar. So North Korea, keep it on the back burner. Now you got to pay attention to this. Iran actually put out a news release yesterday poking North Korea like, don't believe the guy. He's a liar. He backed out of our deal and he's going to kill you too. This is going to get interesting. Okay, let's move on. Let's get a little bit more strategic. Friday, folks, this just broke literally before I got on the air, folks. This is what broke out of the Wall Street Journal, and everybody else is reporting this right now. Friday morning, the president is going to proceed with tariffs on Chinese goods. I just showed you a chart of what's going on here, folks. Potential trade war. Nope. Potential trade war. Nope. You're telling me on Friday, when this gets announced, it's going to be bullish for the market? Last week, folks, I briefed my members that China said, we will buy, Mr. Trump, 70 billion of your G.I. Joes with the Kung Fu grip. This announcement this afternoon means Trump goes, that ain't good enough, dude. What's our trade deficit, guys, with China? Anybody know? That ain't even, that's maybe 40% of it. This is negotiations, guys, but get ready for another one of these down. This is not a good headline, folks. So, and you ready for the sub-headline? If you don't think people in China are reading this like I'm reading it, decision on measures awaits the president's final approval. If you don't know DC, and again, you would think the military is immune to politics. Well, you wouldn't be an admiral or a general without politics. This headline is sitting there on President Xi's desk, and so is the sub-headline that says what? President Trump's approval. So Friday morning, this is all supposed to happen. He's given them 2.5 days to do what? To maybe not. So folks, this is about to get volatile. Speaking of volatile, how about OPEC and oil? Friday, Vlad is meeting with the Mohammed bin Sultan, whatever, one of the crown princes, the dude that's going to take over. He's most likely going to bail out of OPEC. First of all, he's not an OPEC member. He just has a deal with OPEC, but he's most likely going to bail. He can open the spigots and more or less destroy OPEC. Okay, so oil is a big sleeper story that people aren't talking about. What about emerging markets? Look at this headline: emerging markets rout boosts contagion fears. You know what a contagion is, right? And if you don't know what that is, just think fire, man. So the emerging markets are getting routed by what? A strong U.S. dollar, man. We are crushing it. The U.S. dollar is in fuego right now. Look at what's going on in some of the emerging markets. And it sucks to, I'm not being rude when I call Brazil an emerging market, but look at that. Look at these dead cat bounces. Boing, 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 boing. The emerging markets are getting slaughtered. But at the end of the day, as I briefed you last week, members, I said what? We are the best house in a bad neighborhood. Where are you going to go? Maybe China. I'd look at the FXI, but everything else, folks, Europe, we have a Brexit potential revote. We have Mario Draghi in the ECB meeting this week. Folks, there's a lot going on. And finally, let's start getting a little operational here in the States. Morgan Stanley, the tech bubble can burst at any moment without warning. How many of you are long tech right now? Let me get a show of hands, or Wiz, I love Apple, I love Facebook, I love tech right now. How many of you are long tech? Let me take a look. Let's see. Let me see that. Long but hedge. Okay, Kat, good. Nelson, nope. Raul, a little. Jan, yes. Vicky, Apple only. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are, somebody else, John, okay. As you are getting long tech, and tech, ladies and gentlemen, has been doing what? This has been powering most of this rally here, guys. This rally was on a lot of buybacks after Q1 earnings. Apple, we're going to buy whatever it was, $20 billion in stock, all sorts of stuff. Then we leveled off. There was no sell in May and go away. Then we have this. It's mainly been technology. Check this out. As you've been buying, if you buy something, what happened to somebody else? Somebody sold it. Anybody want to read this headline with me? FANG insiders selling their stocks faster than any time in history. So all you folks who just rogered up with a Facebook and Apple and I'm long tech, you know who's selling you that stuff? These people, because they know another tech wreck is coming. Are you hedged? And I got to be honest with you, we are not trading any FANGs. Facebook, roaches in the kitchen. Apple, well, actually, let's do this. Facebook. The market doesn't care about Facebook. Facebook, 14 million users. Your privacy settings were screwed up, and it went to a Chinese company. And oh, by the way, the Chinese company, your settings went to you and your friends. By the way, not just you. It went to a Chinese company on our national security list. Apple stock falls after a report says company is preparing to ship 20%. If any of you are a businesswoman or businessman, how's that hit you when your CFO walks in? Hey, Wiz, we're gonna do 20% less business this year. Folks, can anybody tell me what happened to the Apple Watch? Can anybody tell me what happened to Apple TV? Can anybody tell me all those booger-eating cool stuff they were supposed to do? Sucked. They are an iPhone company. Until the iPhone 32.5 comes out with a teleportation device, they're in trouble. What did Wiz tell members to do in October? We ditched Facebook, we ditched Apple, and what did we do? First of all, let's take a look. Men lie, numbers don't. Let's go back to October. Why did I pick October, folks? You know why? Let's just say Wiz has a lot of friends in a big building up in the Northeast. And you guys, it's got 5 sides on it. Maybe you can figure out. And they're TGO members. I had a lot of members who said, Wiz, we're going to go. I'm going to cash and I'm getting long volatility. So let me just step aside here and get out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, in October, we had 3 CSGs. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. We had 3 carrier strike groups off of North Korea. I know for a fact, and you can Google it. Now it's open source, so I'm not breaking the law. You know what? I don't give a shit. Hillary Clinton can send classified emails or talk about stuff like that, so I will too. I know for a fact in October, Donald Trump, our planes were almost starting up to go bomb North Korea. So we got out, and then when it didn't happen, I said, folks, get out of Facebook, get out of Apple, get into Amazon. What did Amazon do since Wiz said get out of the other 2? Oops, that's Facebook. It's up everybody see that right there? 19%. Remember that. Exactly, Fish. Amazon, baby. Harry, Amazon, all aboard. If you listen to me, you're not up 19%. If you stayed in Facebook, just the stock, you're up 19%. How about Apple? Okay, Wiz said October. Where's October? Right there. There's October. How'd Apple do? Ooh, 29%. That's crushing Facebook, Wiz. You're right. Now let's do what I told you to do in October with Amazon. Can anybody say 79%? You got it, Harry. Folks, this is where you need to be. I would not be in any tech stock, technically. And folks, look at your broker, what your broker calls this. Does anybody know that Amazon is in the services sector, in the retail industry? It ain't a tech, folks. So ditch, and remember that they're spelling FANG like F-A-N-G. It ain't double A. So be careful. Remember Uncle Wiz, I don't care if you become a member today or not, just remember this warning. The insiders are selling the most of their stocks in the FANGs, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, ever. So let me get this straight, folks, for all of you bullish on these stocks. You're bullish on them, but all of the insiders, all the C-level executives aren't? You must be smarter than them. Okay, we got to cruise. U.S. stocks slip after the Fed decision. Officials penciled in a total of 4 rate increases for the year, up from 3. Ladies and gentlemen, this little the Dow closed down $100.20. That ain't nothing. That we can find that in our couch. The market is going to use this as an excuse to take a little profit. That's a good run there, guys. This is half of the January run. This was blue collar, man. This was some work here. That was some work. This has been way too easily. Low volume and low volatility. That does not make a rally. All right, Wiz, you ain't nothing special. That's a rally. It ain't. This is the MacGyver rally, folks. It went up on a rubber band, a paper clip, and some string. Yeah, you can call that a rally, but guess what, man? Markets go down a hell of a lot faster than they do this blue collar going up. So I'm not doing my job today if I'm not scaring you sufficiently. Why? Because I want you to be hedged. I want you to be ready for this pullback. But to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you some of our positions in accelerated retirement. So this is last week. This is 6 June. What is it, 13th? Yeah. Analyze your trade, a new ExxonMobil, and win spread. So I did a sector targeting brief. This was a good session. This was a good session last week. We do these like every 3 months. We can be long-term bullish, folks, out to January of 2020 by doing what we call leaps. Amazon, XOM, Win, Raytheon, Visa, CSX, and I call it a Captain Kirk. The only emerging markets I would ever look at right now is FXI. Why? There's a put under their market. The Chinese government's going to step in. They're going to save capital, whatever they call it. It ain't capitalism, but they're going to save it. So that was last week. So let's take a look at some of the trades we had on. The 80 and a half bull put spread out the last Friday in ExxonMobil. Okay, this is called a bull put spread. We sold the 81 puts and we bought the 80 and a half puts. This was risking about $5,000, close to 6. Ladies and gentlemen, when you become a member here at the end of this webinar, I'm going to teach you that we have an SOP. And whoever, was it Paul? Somebody else in the ready room before I got on. Great response to one of your members, folks. They said, hey, we get to watch Wiz, but we have to come up with our own SOP. Based on a $100,000 model portfolio, I don't want to risk more than 5%, guys, on any one trade. That's $5,000. Why? Why? Because when I was a 24-year-old ensign, I got into Ann Taylor trade, and I almost blew out my account. I didn't know my risk. Right? So I don't want to risk more than $5,000. Well, Wiz is 5,700. I got it. I'm the pilot in command. This is my portfolio. I own it. But look at this. Our metrics were there was a 68% probability of making $1,800 in a week. What did XOM do by last Friday? Let's take a look. Last Friday is right there. 80 and a half. This thing closed for a max profit on Friday of $1,800. And I'd be looking, we're going to talk in a little bit about getting into a bull put spread on the bottom of this Keltner channel right there. Okay. So, and we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. So we made $1,800. And I apologize for that because our support's gone away from that. Let's take a look at win. This was a bear call spread, okay, on win. Now, I'm going to teach you a couple terms here. We have what we call Gordon Gekko moments. How many of you have seen the movie Wall Street? Okay, I love I jokingly say I wear two suits at Top Gun Options. I wear a flight suit, and I'm going to tell you how I feel as an American, damn it. And then I'm going to put on my $6,000 Armani and tell you how I feel about the stock or the market and drive out to the Hamptons. That's a joke. I wouldn't do that. But we were in a live trade brief on a Thursday afternoon, I think it was, when breaking news that Steve Wynn is Harvey Weinstein, and the stock imploded. Ever since, obviously, Wynn ain't going out of business. The dude's name is on the top, but short story long, bears, I think a couple members did bearish double verticals in the session. I did bear call spread, bull put spread. What did I say? The dude's got to go. He's got to resign, and it's got to be soon. He resigned. The stock popped. Short story long, we've been trading the hell out of Wynn. We are up over $50,000 in closed profitable trades since, what was this? January, the middle of January, folks. And that's on limited risk. Look at, even with the bull put spread we got kicked in the gut with. Look at this trade. The 182.5, 185s. This was, and actually this is out to Friday. Look at this. This is the 9th. So we're risking, look at my SOP, guys. We're risking $5,500. Okay? $5,500 to potentially make $2,000. Guys, this was 6th June. Look at the date. This is last Wednesday's live trading session. We did it at 1 o'clock. If you put on this win trade last Wednesday, you risked $5,500 and you're in line, right? I close this. Harry, you're right. This is so we're in the live trade brief, guys. This is at an 82% gain. Okay, so tomorrow I would close this and I'd take, what is it, Harry, an $1,800 gain right now? 82%. Can I get a hell yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not a member, I just showed you a trade that closed for $1,800, and I'm showing you a trade that could close for that's $3,800. $3,800 since, and what's that? 7 days. That is I think I did. I'm a political science guy. So we made $3,800 on about $11,500 in max risk. If Wynn and ExxonMobil did the exact opposite of what I thought, the most we could have lost in that week was $11,500. But instead, we made $3,800, which is a 33% return on risk. Does everybody get that? That is, folks, that's more than an annual membership plus a year and a half into Top Gun Options. Remember, men lie, numbers don't. So we have been having an awesome, exactly, Fish, times 12 months. That's an over $40,000 annualized return. You got it, guys. Exactly. All my members are saying, hell yeah. So again, this is last Wednesday's. So somebody asked if this is recorded. This is what the member page looks like. I give us a little write up here. Hey guys, blah, 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 whatever. Last week I actually had a slide. I wanted to say, hey, here's our Jan sectors. Usually I don't have a slide in there, but I send out what? A screenshot of the trades. When we're in the trade brief, except this one, I send out a text alert. Where's my broadcaster? Right here. So, hey, Wiz, I work every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, or the primary live trade brief or weekly. I work during your live trade briefs. Well, guess what? 3 out of 4 of our live trade briefs, I sit here, and as I'm looking at a trade, yesterday, we sent out what? We sent out a weekly options trade on Amazon at 1:15 yesterday. So you could be sitting there listening to your boss drone on about KPIs, and you on your cell phone are going to get a text alert. And what did the text alert say yesterday? Open this Amazon bull put spread. You ready? This is called weekly options. This was yesterday. Everybody see the date? 12 June, weekly options. Let's go down to the Amazon trade. This trade expires Friday. Everybody see this? You see where it says June 18? That's not June 18th, folks. Whenever you see a month And a year, that means it's the regular monthly option. So let's look at this. What day? So 1, 2, 3. When you see a month and a year, it is the third Friday of every month. So this trade actually expires Friday. It's called a weekly option. It's the 1680, 1677 and a half bull put spread. We were looking to get 60 cents for this trade. Now let's look at the metrics. We were risking right around $5,700 this week to potentially make $1,800. Look at the metrics, folks. There's a 74% probability of making $1,800 this week. If you ain't a Vegas person, and I'm not, except the clubs, I can't stand gambling. Does anybody know of any casino where you have 3 to 4 odds? 3 out of 4 times, 74% of the time, this trade will make a max profit. And the time it doesn't, we're going to be awake and try and eject or get out of the trade. What is this at right now? 1680, 1677 and a half options. Friday, 16, let's go to Amazon. Friday, 1680, it's not even on my list here, the 1680s. I love when you have to scroll down to get to the next option because that means you're making money. 1677 and a half. The 1680, 1677, 27 cents. What did we try and get? 60. 60 minus 27 times 30 contracts equals $990 since yesterday. Mark, yes, and the alerts reach members who are in challenged areas. Isn't this awesome, guys? This is, you know what, Rob? If you don't mind, I'm going to put that up here. Everybody, look what Rob said. Rob's a member here. I'm in training in a different city these last 3 weeks and was able to receive text alerts and put on 2 trades while in class from my phone. Rob, you're exactly right, folks. I can run Top Gun options from the top of a mountain, man. I got my brokerage platform and I have my I can blast out trades from my broadcaster. So as Rob just said, man, you can get these. Greg, I will. So Greg, guys, I love Greg, man. Everybody look at Greg. Oh, give me 1 second here. Everybody look at Greg. And if you're a current member, you know that Greg is, he's like Tamara. He's a teacher's pet here. Why? Because he listened to me on Amazon, folks. Not that you guys didn't. We talked about how an Amazon long call diagonal can be expensive. I get that. But let's take a look at what Greg did. So here's Greg. Greg, he got into a Jan 2019 long call diagonal on Amazon. He just one contract, guys. He's up 92 grand. Then he said, you know, Wiz, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to leapfrog. I'm going to put on a Jan 2020. And he put it on February 2nd, another contract. He's up 21 grand. Folks, I can't, and it breaks my heart because I just want to sit here. Win or Diane, I don't know if Diane's in. There's a couple folks who listen to me on this. Hold on, Greg, I'm going to update your Greg Amazon LCD. So this is great. So we have a weekly options trade, and Harry, I think. So folks, we're up $990 in a day. So 990. What's our max risk? 5,700. So you're up 18% in a day. I'd hang on to this one, to be honest with you. I wouldn't close this one. Tomorrow, folks, if you become a member here, folks, we're going to do a live trade brief tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And we're going to review the rest of our trades that we have on right now. Most likely Amazon, I think, was up after hours. I'm not sure what it's doing, but that ain't a bad return. Actually, that makes no sense. It's up $990. We're up our max. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. What's our max potential profit? That was stupid. 1,800. This is return on risk. We're up 55%. You're right, Harry. So this is a 55% return on risk. You got it, Harry. That's exactly right. I'm sorry. Fish, that's right, man. We are up to 40 countries. We have members in 40 countries literally around the world. So this is just 3. These are the recent trades in accelerated retirement, guys. And I'm sorry for my current members. If you aren't in accelerated retirement, I just wanted to show folks that we did the primary live trade brief yesterday, and we put on an Amazon weekly options trade. That's up 55% in a day. Okay, remember, folks, men lie, numbers don't. And to be honest with you, it's got an 85% probability right now of finishing by Friday for a max profit. Isn't that awesome? So, again, it's half a marketing webinar for folks who are here for the first time, but it's also for my members. Let's go back to our portfolio and see what else we have to cover. What else do we have in here, guys? Win. I thought we had Visa. Visa's been a great a gift that keeps on giving, even with the European outage that they had. This has been a Jan 20. So right about, I don't know if Brian's in here. Right around here, I had a coaching session with one of my coaching clients. He's like, Wiz, you need to take. I haven't traded Visa in about 5 years. Brian put me back onto it, and since we've been trading Visa, man, this thing has been the gift that keeps on giving. I would be in Visa in lieu of our JP Morgan Jan 20 trade. JP Morgan just ain't setting the world on fire. And the financials if the financials were going to get off the mat, so to speak, they would have done it today. This is not. So do not get into Visa. I would look, I'm sorry, JP Morgan. I would look into that. Tamara, that's awesome. Let me show some of this stuff. Kevin, we got the bull put spread last week. Let me show you some of these, some of our current members, folks, what they're saying in the background. And again, I'm not ignoring some of your good comments and questions. I will open up the door to some of you folks who aren't here. Fish, Harry, Tamara, Kevin. These guys have been here, and they're doing great, man. It brings a tear to my eye that these folks are doing that great, because that's why I'm here. It's funny. I haven't gotten one of you guys in a while that, like in the chat box, like, if you're so smart, why don't you do this, run a hedge fund or do it on your own? Folks, did you not see the part when I ran a $2.5 billion firm? You put the ladder down. In the military, when you make a higher rank or in the business world, when you make it, you're supposed to put the damn ladder down. I hated Wall Street, folks. I wanted to take a shower like 8 times a day. They'd step over their own mother to make $1. Put the damn ladder down, man. That's why I'm here. I don't, if I wasn't doing this with you or for you, I'd be doing it on my own. So why wouldn't I be in this room doing this? That's what's comical. I love those people. If you're so good, why don't I was so good? I ran the Options News Network. I haven't had one of those guys in a while that plays Stump the Chump. I think that it was actually one of my competitors and was funny. Bruce, I have 3 bull puts on Amazon laddered up last week, one on all 3. We have had, and it's funny, ladies and gentlemen, I have 2 doctor buddies. They're brothers here in Fort Lauderdale. And I don't know if you guys are in here today. I know one of you guys had surgery. It's funny because I looked at their, they shall remain nameless, one of his portfolios. He's got like 33 positions on, guys. Folks, I got to be honest with you. As a professional portfolio manager, I got about 15 to 20, and it kicks it's a full-time job. If you're an average retail trader, you should have 5 to 10 positions on max. And here's a wisdom, folks. If you don't have a Jan 20, most of the trades I've talked to you about, JP Morgan, Visa, Amazon, Win, ExxonMobil, Raytheon, we have on Jan 20 positions, meaning we hopped in our F-18 Hornet. I wish it could go that fast. We went the speed of light out to January of 2020, and we got bullish. Folks, if you have on a Jan 20, you have enough work to do. You have on your bullish Jan 20, but you need to trade the front months. Yesterday, so right now, folks, we have a Jan 20 in Raytheon. We love Raytheon. This pullback yesterday on, oh my God, peace might have broken out in the North Korean Peninsula is a opportunity to get in. Look at this. Oh my God, we're going to die in Raytheon. No, we're not. Oh my God, peace broke out. No, it hasn't. It's going to come back. But at the end of the day, folks, if you have a Jan 20 bullish position on, I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to teach you how to you can be bipolar, and so can I, so to speak. You can be long, Wiz, I think you're right. The defense sector, Raytheon's great. Yeah, I'm bullish out to Jan 20, but I think this North Korea thing, think peace is broken out. Then you need to be trading front month spreads or short calls. Why would you be in a Jan 20 on Raytheon and then all of a sudden ignore the front months and go trade Tesla or Steve's tire store or whatever? It's shocking to me when I look at some of my members or coaching clients' portfolios. I'm like, what did 32 positions? And I'll ask them, what's that company do? I don't know. I heard it from a buddy at a conference. Dumb, get out of it. How do you, if this looks complex, okay, and again, I'm a political science major, I'm a knuckle dragger. If this looks, how do you battle complexity? Let me ask you all a question. How do you battle complexity? Combat's pretty damn complex, you would think, isn't it? We battle complexity with simplicity. Keep it, everybody knows the KISS principle, right? Keep it simple, stupid. And it is. Do not be in a 15, 20, 30 names. I, for years, have traded weekly options on SPX. I swear to God, folks, I think I can count on one hand the number of times in the past 3 to 5 years where I haven't traded SPX. I haven't traded SPX since this day. You know, we've been trading just about every week. I sat on the pine on Monday and I said, let me eat some popcorn on Tuesday. And then we got in the bull put spread that's up $990. We got into Amazon. I want everybody to take a mental snapshot of this picture right here. You see this? Whoa, whoa. Take a mental snapshot of that buffoonery. Remember it right now. Remember, everybody, does this look like that? Nope. Does this look like that buffoonery? Nope. Ooh, CSX, that's in another, this is our transport stock. Does this look like that? Nope. What am I missing? Win. I'm not going to go through all of them, guys. I'm not giving away my portfolio. The point being, folks, is none of the stocks that we trade or ETFs looks like this. I got 2 panic texts from people today, from coaching clients, like, Wiz, do you think the market's set to roll over? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh my God, what do we do? I'm like, nothing. Every one of our current positions, our Jan 20s, are immune to this type. Now, obviously, guys, if we have a Fred Sanford heart attack pullback, yeah, our Jan 20s will get kicked a little bit. But first of all, they're hedged. And second of all, you add to them. But my point being is, folks, yeah, the market might roll over here. And in our couple minutes remaining, here's what you need to be doing. If you, Wiz, I'd love to be in some of these, man. Where it is? Your sectors, I agree with all of them. In Amazon, and ExxonMobil, a Sin stock, Win, Raytheon, Visa, CSX, maybe a Captain Kirk and FXI. I love it. These are relatively immune to the buffoonery of the S&P 500. If you're hanging on every tick of this picture, man, I don't know how you live. You're smoking a carton of Lucky Strikes a day and a bottle of Jack. Don't do it. But here's what you do need to do. Look at this, the VIX. This is called the Volatility Index, right? When, exactly, Greg, the front month Raytheon, we're going to expire for max profit. I love it. Exactly. So, and a lot of my members are saying, hey, we also sell front month upside calls. So on Raytheon, a couple weeks ago, I sold the 210 calls for like, I don't know, $1.10. That brought in $1,100. $1,100 for doing what? Saying that Raytheon wasn't going to go above 210 by Friday. It didn't. So, ladies and gentlemen, at a cocktail party, if one of your buddies is like, I got in Raytheon, I'm losing money, I bought the stock, you can be sitting there going, yeah, well, I bought the Jan 20s. They're looking all right, but I made money on it this week. How did you short it? No, I sold the 210s, man, the front month upside calls. I will, if that confuses you, welcome aboard. Matter of fact, that's one of my long called, so you're going to get access in a couple minutes when I give you access to this. Where is it? Look at this. Full throttle session 8, long call diagonals on Raytheon. This is an hour-and-a-half lecture on how to get long Raytheon using a long call or synthetic stock. So if you're sitting here going, Christ almighty, Wiz, I don't even know what a put is. Guess what? I got training that's going to take you from this is aerodynamics all the way up to this is you over Syria dropping a laser-guided bomb. So exactly, Mark, I appreciate that. Let me. I got some good folks here, man. So just read some of these. Mark down there at the bottom. Wiz, what everyone needs to do is be with you. I appreciate that. Harry's actually right. You can also be bearish in the front months. Okay, Greg. Hey, man. Even though Raytheon's going down by Friday, I'm looking at a 67% gain. Okay, those are you, folks. Like I said, Harry, these guys haven't been doing this for years. Like I said, Tamara, she and I met, a year and a half ago down in Miami, man. And now she's a freaking rocket surgeon at this stuff. So it's great. And you know what? Let me share these two. Let me talk about volatility real quick. And Greg's talking about this. Everybody look at Greg. I grabbed 3 sets of VIX calls for my 3 portfolios out to the end of the month. I wanted to be early. Greg listens. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to volatility trading, you have to be early. What do you mean, Wiz? Look at all these folks. Look at this short. So let's open this up a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, do you not remember last year? Holy crap, you could not keep a little bit of freak mode. You could not keep this market down. Volatility was dead. What happened? People shorted the hell out of the VIX, the volatility index. Nothing bad could ever happen again. What happened in January? Jerome Powell said, we might be a little hawkish on interest rates this year. Son of a bitch and all things holy. What happened? A little spike in volatility. All of these short vol traders got wiped out. I have 2 of my best friends whose firms closed because of this trade. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in our radar screen. Does this look familiar? We almost all died, right? Except us. We've been immune to this type of stuff, guys. But right now, here's what I'm going to leave you with. If you left with nothing today, I failed. But here's what you need to leave with. When volatility is cheap, and even it's up 5% today, folks. A VIX at 13. Unless you were clubbing in the Bahamas when I went through all of this stuff. We have treasonous people in the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the IRS. North Korea, the dude landed on home soil and said, I kicked that guy in the face. He can suck it. By the way, there's something called the Middle East and Iran who says death to America on a daily basis, and we want to kill all of you. Hey, Friday morning, Trump's going to kick China in the gut with trade. Folks, if you're sitting here going, you know what, Wiz, nothing ever can go bad again, then do me a favor. Short volatility. How many in this room would short volatility right now? Don't get me wrong, folks. The market can remain irrational longer than you can stay solvent. You could have gotten long vol, all these places. There's 2 little pops right there. You could have made money there, but guess what? Getting long volatility right now makes sense. Every one of these times where people go, hey, Wiz, vol is incredible. Man, there's nothing going on. It ends miserably. You got it, Terrence. You buy when volatility is cheap and you sell it when it's expensive. So right now, there's a lot of volatility sellers. Wiz, I think you're smoking crack. It's not 5. Well, it is 5 o'clock yet. Wait until I get off the webinar. Joking. I'm short volatility. You're nuts. Right now, shorting volatility is running around in front of a steamroller in your short volatility cape, picking up dimes, man. Volatility, and who, Greg or Paul, one of you guys said, hey, man, I got some VIX trades on. I wanted to be early. Why did he say that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, when the VIX goes and you ain't on that plane, it's too late. What was it? What was this one? China trade, whatever this one was, the VIX was up 30% in a day. We had people making triple-digit returns on their long VIX calls. And I got a lot of emails and support saying, thanks, dude, going on vacation because of you. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, the only trade we're going to cover today, and for my current members, we'll cover more AR tomorrow in our Analyze Your Trade session because this was a little strategic partner brief. You have to be early. So what would I do? What would Uncle Wiz do? First of all, let's look at a calendar. The OPEC meeting is that this week ain't even done yet, folks. What do we have tonight? In the old days, what am I meaning by the old days? Maybe a half a year ago, we used to care about this data. China, 10 o'clock tonight, fixed asset investment, industrial production, retail sales. In the old days, if this data sucked, you could see the futures down on our end. I got to be honest with you, we don't care too much about that. We have a Brexit vote. We have Putin meeting with Saudi Arabia. The rest of the week can be pretty crazy. What is the craziest thing happening on Friday? This, literally, folks, at 4:27 or whatever, I'm sitting here putting my headsets on, breaking news out of the Wall Street Journal. This is breaking news, folks. So, again, if nothing happens, Wiz, you're wrong. I want to be wrong, guys. I don't know how many times I put on these long vol trades and say, guys, I want to be wrong. Why? Because I've never lost money on a hedge. Well, that's bullshit, Wiz. You went long some VIX calls a month ago and they went out worthless. What did my Jan 20s do? Well, they went through the roof. Then I didn't lose money on this. If you're the type of investor or trader that sits there and goes, man, I bought those long VIX calls thinking VIX was going to pop and I lost money on them. Don't become a member here. You're not going to fit in. If you're the type of member that goes, hey, man, vol didn't pop, but I printed money on my Jan 20s. Thank God I slept better by having my hedge on. Welcome aboard. I never walked on the flight deck of the carrier towards my F-18 and looked up in it, and the ejection seat was missing. Hey, Lieutenant, the ejection seat's getting repaired. You cool flying without it? No, I'm not. Just having that thing there made me a better aviator. Not having that thing there, you trade stupid. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let me put my glasses on. I would fly out. We talked about this the other day, to be honest with you. I'm a 50 Delta. The OPEC meetings, June 22nd. I got to be honest with you, June 27th is literally a lifetime away. Look at these markets. In an afternoon, Trump tweets something or the Fed does it. That's a world away in volatility time. If you believe what I'm saying, and I freaked you out a little bit, maybe you do go out to June 27th expiry. Wiz, I want a couple weeks out hedges. You scared the shit out of me. Good, I did my job. Which ones would I do? A longer lecture, I would look at the 0.8 Delta calls. I would be buying these VIX June 27 10 calls. How many of them? I can't tell you. I'm a 10 guy. What would that cost me right now? About $3.50. If I bought 10 of these VIX calls, they'd be $3,500. Well, I'm a grand. Okay, do 3. I can risk 10 grand, Wiz. Okay, then do 25. Whatever, guys. I would be looking at 10 of these, and I put them in my safe deposit box. And I got to be honest with you, when I look at these, if the VIX never pops, I never look at them. I just let them go into the sunset, and I have a glass of wine and cheers them and go, when I do look at them, breaking news, Donald Trump says this, and Japan or China says we're at a trade war, and they impose $1 quadrillion in tariffs. The market's down 1,000 points, and the VIX is up at 18. That's when you look at them and you close them. Remember, like Greg said, you want to be early. So if we get a pop in vol, don't ride it out. If you're seeing a 10, 20, 30% rise in the VIX, don't wait. If you wait for it to roll over, it'll be down 30% in the blink of an eye. Okay? So those are the calls that I would buy at this moment to put my safety deposit box. Now, if you're not at TGO and you don't have this stuff on, a lot of this is for this, to be honest with you guys. Buying some VIX calls right now would be wrong one. Where's my sector brief? I'm trying to get to my accelerated retirement. AR. I would not necessarily do that VIX trade as a standalone brief. If I was a TGO member in good standing and was in a bunch of these, some of these, I would do that VIX trade. I would not do the VIX trade as a standalone brief, as a standalone trade. Why? You just scared the hell out of me, Wiz. What do you mean why? I just also told you that what? Look at this chart. Look at this stupidity. Look at what happened in October, guys. What happened in October? Wiz more or less said, I would go to cash and get long vol, man. There's 3 carrier battle groups and we're going to war. Nothing happened. So I would not do that as a standalone VIX trade if I wasn't hedging my portfolio. That ain't no standalone trade. What would I do as a standalone trade? Well, become a member and find out tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Otherwise, we're gonna get airborne without you. You got it, Fish. You know what? Let me share a couple of those. That's all good stuff. So what I'm going to do now, guys, and I went over about 10 minutes, and I appreciate my current members waiting until after the close here to do a little bit of a brief. We got good stuff going on. We got those trades going on. The one win bull put spread got kicked in the gut, but again, folks, we're up as of that bear call spread, the one from last week. It's like 52.5 in profits. Okay, and we've got kicked in the gut on like 3 or 4 win trades, but I think it's like, what is it, 27 winning trades to 27 winners and 4 losers or something like that. So even with that losing bull put spread, the repair trade from last week totally negates it. Okay, so I'll tell you what. So current members, let's talk a little bit more AR, new trades tomorrow. I wanted to talk to potential new members about hedging and putting on a VIX trade, because it's just, guys, it makes sense, man. Like I said, the owner of that company, he said, hey, Wiz, whenever I say this is nuts, it's kind of like a pilot. If you're ever in a plane and the pilot says, hey, watch this, put your seatbelt on or eject out of the airplane because you're about to die. When I say this is nuts, listen to me. Volatility being down here is nuts. It's going to end catastrophically. And like I said, when you get a move like this in the VIX, it can go up that much in a day, man. Look at that. The VIX almost doubled in a day. So please listen to me. If you get my daily videos, you know what, even if you don't do a T-week, I'm going to show you how to take a 2-week test flight. Even if you don't do it, please at least sign up for my daily, it's called a sit rep, the situation report. I send out a daily video. It gets pushed to you, so you don't have to come to the website and go, hey, man, is your sit rep out? Do me a favor and go to this page. Let me put it in the chat box. And just enter your name and your email, and you can get the sit rep. Terrence, going to take a test flight after the summer. Won't be home to trade, but appreciate the seminars. Listen to one every day. Thanks for all. You bet, Terrence. I thank you for the kind words. Fish, best part of my day is being here with my family, TGO family. Got it. Cat, if I'm in the left seat, you just leave your seatbelt on, kind of like my grandkids has to leave her seatbelt on in the car or we don't go. God bless you, Cat. I'm the same thing. I look back at my kids and I say, hey, if you ain't buckled, we ain't going anywhere. It's so funny that people do that. I'm like, when I flew in a Hornet, man, I had an ejection seat. I was strapped in and all that stuff. So here, if you're interested in doing a 2-week test flight like a bunch of you are asking about, just go to the homepage, topgunoptions.com, and scroll down, and I'm going to tell you which one you should jump into, okay? So there's just the homepage. Yeah, you bet, Steve. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. And I'm glad you got your VIX on. Exactly. It's protecting your longs. That's it, man. If you sit there and go, crap, I lost a couple grand on that VIX trade, but I made 20 on my others, and you're complaining about it, you're going to burn out. The beginner track, I think so here you go, guys. This is $14 for 2 weeks. This is 28, and this is 38. The only reason this one is called advanced isn't because you need to be smarter. It's because these are the weekly options. They're shorter dated. I just showed you an Amazon trade that's up $990 in a day. It just as could have been down $2,000 today if Jeff Bezos came out and said, hey, Donald Trump, I'm the Antichrist and I'm coming for you. So this isn't advanced as far as strategery or you need brain power. It's just these are the shorter dated. So $14 trial, $28 trial, and $38 trial. Just click on the beginner, intermediate, or advanced, okay? And you can get into our and then at the end of 2 weeks, if you're on board, it rebuilds at whatever it rebuilds at, like $1.95, $2.10, whatever it is. If in the 13 days you just give us a call, hey man, I'm good. I'm good. You don't have to. We won't bill you there. Okay. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. Charles, awesome. I just recognize your name. Welcome aboard, Charles. And thanks for your kind words. Thank you, Fish. Yeah, the daily sit rep is some good intel, man. It's just scroll down here, put your name and your email address in here, and you'll get our daily sit rep video. And you'll at least get to listen to my political rants. Okay? Keep Trump away from his phone. No more Amazon tweets. Harry, you're right, man. But as you know, I've talked about with Amazon. Here's Donald Trump. Drunk tweet. Well, actually, the guy doesn't drink. Here's Donald Trump's tweet storm. There's Amazon since. I think Amazon's inoculated to Trump's stupidity, to be honest with you. I think Amazon's gonna be all right. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Steve Cook, Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, whatever. You got to be an Amazon, guys. Get out of those other ones. I'm telling you, just don't do it. You bet, Ann. Thank you. Great stuff as usual. That puts a smile on my face. All right, guys. So again, if you're new, thanks for coming. I went over by about 15 minutes. I don't like going over because I know people have places to be and they build their schedule around this. But thank you for joining me after the close. We rarely do this, but my strategic partner said, hey, man, a lot of my members would enjoy it after the close. I'll get you the replay here. I don't know, about 20 minutes. I'm going to go for a run, say hi to my kids, and then just go to one of these verticals here, guys. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, and trust me, man, this is a really bad bottle of Pinot Grigio, unless you go to Costco. I mean, God, in Fort Lauderdale, that's a glass of wine. But $14, $28, or $38. If this is your last $14, don't take the trial, please. Okay. So at the end of the day, we just want you to succeed. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. Thanks, Tamara. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll get you the replay shortly. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. And I'll see many of you tomorrow in the Analyze Your Trade and Debrief at 1 o'clock. We'll see you guys.